I got a bad.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun of the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take out your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest and repeat offender, Welcome back. Jay Kaplan is in the house. Welcome, Mr. Kaplan.
Oh, you're very, very welcome yourself. And at least I fit in the house these days, right?
Absolutely. Hey, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. It is a day that ends in Y, so we are celebrating on Ron Siegel Radio. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Now, you know something? I think I need to find some other guests to come in for this one because this one isn't going to work. It's Kiss and Makeup Day today. So, Jay Kaplan, you don't fit the bill. So that's just going to be a whole different story.
No. But, you know, you got to break up before you make up, correct?
There you go. Okay, that makes sense. So now, I don't know, now that we can, I don't know, how do we refer to Jay anymore? We might have to call him half a Jay Kaplan.
Yeah.
Because
half, right half or left half?
The old, well, Jay's old. The old Jay Kaplan would have known about National Banana Split Day today. Do you do banana split days now, Jay?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so trying to beef him up a little bit. Banana split day today.
Nice little umbrella on there.
Yeah, and we even got some whipped cream on there. I noticed some of our days we miss whipped cream, so there is whipped cream and a cherry on top. It's also whiskey sour day.
Oh, that's pretty sour.
Yeah. My wife just learned about, we have a friend of ours that just taught us a new drink, Jay. I don't know if you know this one. It's a Beirut sour. So it's a little bit different, more colorful, a little sweet, but that one goes well as well. Second-hand wardrobe store. I just need a second wardrobe when I'm wearing one shirt. One shirt just doesn't do the job for me. Sometimes I just need more, huh? Yeah, I need a couple of shirts there. Hey, let's take a look and see what's going on in the world today. Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 51 points. S&P 500 is up 25. The NASDAQ is up 109. Oil is down 64 cents a barrel. Oil down 64 cents a barrel. Now, that is good news because it tells us two different things. Now that oil is going down, according to President Biden, that tells me, I mean, maybe you're not on the same page as me, but according to President Biden, that means the war in Ukraine is over. Obviously, it would be over because the president told us that was why gas prices were going up. So if gas prices are no longer going up, I guess that means the war is over. But my guess, just understanding politics the way I understand politics, I'm sure some politician will take credit for the gas prices going down. It's just they always have to take credit for everything. Anything that's good, they take credit for. Anything that's bad, the other guy did it. That's just the way it works. Now, I am going to throw in that $94.34 a barrel into our calculator. I've given you the calculator before. That tells you gas prices are going to $4.21 per gallon when we work that out for you. What does that mean? Well, right now we're at $3.88 a gallon. So gas is going to go the wrong way. Right here in the formerly Golden State, $5.33 a gallon. Ow! I'm sorry, $5.30 a gallon is the average. Josh is at $4.90. He can't get below $4.90 over there in Nevada. Jody's at $4.02, and our tremendous underwriter, Lori, she's at $3.46 a gallon of gasoline. Well, we've got more inflation coming. We know that that's on the way. Why do we know it? Well, another handout yesterday. Did you get the news on the handout du jour? So, I don't know, $500 billion, $300 billion handed out. You gotta wonder about today's Democrat Party. Of course, I always wonder about the Democrat Party. Used to be they called it as a party of all people, of the common folk. But giving $10,000 or $20,000 to wipe out student loan debt. First off, Nancy Pelosi told us July of 2021 that the president had no authority to do this. I don't know if they changed the Constitution since then or what's happened, but apparently he's got the authority to do it because he did it yesterday. Where's the money coming from? They don't want to answer that. It's coming from you and me. So they're going to tax us more so that they can give that to people who have student loan debt. Now, I know some folks that have student loan debt. I'm sure they're very excited about getting this paid off. Wouldn't anybody? Just throw that out there. It's amazing how that's going on. But the bottom line here is giving away $300 to $500 billion. The big question is, aren't we in debt still? Isn't the country out of money now? Oh, no, wait. We've got 87,000 new IRS agents coming to check on us. And who are they going to go after? Yeah, small business people. You're the ones that are on the radar. I know that they tried to put an amendment in there in that last giveaway bill that they would not harass anybody that earned under or business earning under $400,000. Yeah, the Democrats didn't like that one. So what does that tell you? Just throw that out there for you. Now, if you are a working person, electrician, plumber, handyman, carpenter, construction individual, mechanic, I don't know, maybe you'll be next. Maybe they'll send you $10,000 for you to go buy some new tools. I don't know, but right now you just get to pay for the guys that went to medical school. I saw this one. This is an interesting one. Go to medical school. In the first 3 years out of medical school, you're not earning that $125,000 or that $250,000 as a family. You're not earning that. So you're going to be a doctor, and the guy that didn't go to school, he gets to pay your bill. Now, I've shared with you a simple solution. Nobody wants to listen to Ron Siegel Radio and understand the simple solution to skyrocketing college expenses. President Bush is the one that's at fault. I'm just going to throw that out there. Bush 43 is the one that's at fault for this. President Obama helped, but Bush 43 started the problem. They did bankruptcy reform under Bush 43. As part of bankruptcy reform, they made student loan debt non-dischargeable in bankruptcy. Why does that cause a problem for tuition? Well, if the lenders have no risk, they're going to get their money eventually. Why would they ever stop giving out money? Right? I mean, we saw that in the mortgage meltdown in 2009. If there's no risk of loss, well, lend, and you figure you're just going to get the money back eventually. Well, the government might pay it back for them, but if you're going to get your money back. So the colleges, the universities, they increased tuition by about 4 or 5 times what the inflation rate has been. Think about that. So an $80,000 tuition should be about $25,000 right now. But if they would have put some risk on the table for colleges, do you think they're going to lend out as much money as they lend out right now? No. Now, President Obama exacerbated the problem by nationalizing all of it, where he brought in all of the student loans into being federal programs. Well, now the industry doesn't say, well, we don't care, right? Keep giving out those loans because now it's the government that's going to pay them or stand behind them or fund them. School gets their money. Everybody's happy. So, step one, bankruptcy reform, make these dischargeable in bankruptcy for any new loans. That way, the schools will have an incentive to keep their prices down. Step two, collect the money from those who borrowed the money. But being that it's the government that the money's going to, how about making it interest-free? So you got to pay back what you borrowed, but the government's not going to take a profit on it. Throw that out there. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. Is a reverse mortgage a benefit or is a hedge for inflation? We're going to talk about it. An equity buyout is not a mortgage loan in divorce, and why you may want to start your home search today. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numero 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Is your budget getting blown up with high prices of gas and increased costs for other household needs? This is Ron Siegel, host of the daily home and finance radio program. Did you know if you have a low interest rate mortgage along with auto debt, credit card debt, or student loans, your family could potentially save $500 or more per month by restructuring these debts? If you'd like a free Borrow Smart analysis with our team, let's book an appointment to see how we might be able to relieve some stress. Schedule your appointment at rsrbsa.com. That's rsrbsa.com for your free Borrow Smart analysis. rsrbsa.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. S&P 500 now up 17 points. The 10-year Treasury down 3 basis points. Mortgage-backed securities are up 14 basis points. And Thursday, it's Thursday. If you're listening to us live today, just a little while ago, we did get the Freddie Mac Mortgage Market Survey. They say the loans are locking at 5.55% is what the survey shows. That's not what they're locking at, but you know better than that. OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions. Conforming loans actually yesterday. Rates were 5.55 announced this morning. We're seeing now that the rates actually locked yesterday, 5.74 on the conforming, 5.529 on jumbo. FHA was 5.571. USDA, the best loan on the market for the rural areas, no down payment there, 5.565. And the absolute best loan on the market, only for those that have earned it, the 30-year VA loan at 5.336. Why are the rates doing what they're doing? Well, we got the second reading of GDP. It showed us that we fell 0.6% in the second quarter. Technical recession. That's a little bit better than the 0.9% decline that was originally reported. Decrease in the second quarter, real GDP was revised up 0.3 of a percentage point from the advanced estimate, primarily reflecting upward revisions to consumer spending, private inventory investment, and state and local government spending that were partly offset by downward revisions. Easy for me to say today. Downward revisions to residential fixed investment, federal government spending, and exports. Imports were also revised lower. Initial jobless claims, unemployment benefits for the very first time. That one was a little bit lower as well. Now 245,000 people filing for unemployment benefits for the very first time. 1.415 million on continuing claims. You'll never guess where the largest amount of new people being laid off is. Wait, I think I've got it here. Wait a second. Hold it. Hang on for it. California, largest area with claims, 38,000 people filing for unemployment benefits for the very first time. About at 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow is going to be the big news of the week. Jerome Powell is going to be speaking about what his plan is for inflation. That is the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The aforementioned Jay Kaplan is in the house with us. He is our reverse mortgage guru. Good morning, Jay Kaplan.
Good morning.
So, got a lot of inflation going on. We see our real earnings, our real income is going the wrong way. We've got inflation exceeding wage growth. Maybe our seniors aren't out there, but I did see recently, Jay, you'll like this one. I think we're going to get a large cost of living increase for our seniors this year.
You mean Social Security?
Social Security, exactly. Yeah, they're going to get a nice increase. The inflation, the only place inflation is good is for that cost of living increase, but I don't know if that's how the seniors really want that.
That's good or not. That's just supposed to keep even with rising prices. So, generally speaking, we probably rather that did not happen.
It's an interesting concept because you hear some of the seniors saying, okay, well, I'm going to get I think it's 8 or 9% this year is the cost of living increase on Social Security. And you're right. Most people say, well, something that sounds nice until they go to the grocery store and see the bacon's up 30%. Now, just a different story. But the question that we have here is, as we continue to get older and older, hopefully, is in the stock market, is very, very volatile right now. That we kind of see every day. Who knows? Are we in a bear market? Are we in a bear trap? Are we in a new bull market? Say again?
It moves around a lot too.
Yeah, we don't know. It can be kind of nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
One of the issues when you're a senior is, I think you've probably got more years behind you than ahead of you. So
depends how you count the days. As you get older, those days become longer, so it kind of equals out.
Okay, got you there. So if you don't want to sell your stock, but you've got a lot of equity in your house, is there a solution?
Of course there is. There should be what's considered a fairly easy solution. An easy solution perhaps, but not necessarily that easy to understand at first. But we have spoken before, and you have brought out the fact that one of the best parts of a reverse mortgage is the ever-growing line of credit. And that line of credit, number 2, is a real hedge against inflation because it's going up based on rates, not based on the property value at all. And number 1, which might be a little tougher to grasp, is the fact that when your equities are down, stocks, bonds, things like that, you normally take out X amount to live on. But in times like this, that X amount or percentage of what you have invested is now going to be quite a bit less. And the buying power is a lot less. So what you do over, say, a 30-year period, and this is fairly rare, but you're going to have a few bad years over those times. Those people that have a portfolio, I've often talked about my great portfolio, and it's just full of pictures. But most people have investments in it, and when you have a bad year,
We don't want to talk about those pictures, Jay.
no, don't sell your investments. Once you've sold them, they're gone, and you've sold them at a low price. And every one of those dollars that you just sold are no longer going to be working for you, and they're not going to be replaced because they're gone. And if those few years, let's say 2-3 years at the most, during the lifetime of the reverse mortgage, you say, no, I'm not going to sell those equities. I'm going to keep them because we all know they're coming back. And what you do is you take some money out on your line of credit to live on for that year. Now, overall, you've taken some tax-free money from your home, okay? A fairly small percentage if you want to look at the entire value. And what you've done is you've taken tax-free dollars, unlike your investments in most cases, and you have sold some of you've taken some of that cash from the line of credit. Your investment portfolio stays strong as it always did, and you've added a little bit of balance to your loan, but that's very small compared with everything else, and extremely small when it's compared to your ability to continue living, having money to spend while you're living, and having that extra security. That they call this sequence of returns, and overall, this is the best protection and hedge for that is the line of credit on the reverse mortgage. It's a hedge against inflation, and it's a hedge against lowering prices, because the line of credit still goes up even if the price goes down, which isn't going to happen.
Let's look at a couple of a simple example, Jay. So I just did this while Jay was sharing with us. I looked up and saw that Apple stock. Now, I'm not recommending Apple stock. I'm not disliking Apple stock. It doesn't matter to me one way or another. But here I want to just use this for an example. Apple stock in January was $182.94. Today it's $168.71. So it's gone down, I don't know, right around, is that about 10%, give or take? So in order to live, you may have needed to take 50 shares and sell 50 shares of Apple stock in January. Today, you have to sell 55 shares of Apple stock in order to live. Now, those extra 5 shares that you had to take are never, ever going to get back to that $182.94 because you sold them. So the idea here is if we generally need to pull 50 shares out every month to live, okay, pull out the 50 shares and take the other 10% from your line of credit if you wish on your home equity.
Yes.
Right? So there's the solution for it. And that way you're not with those other 5 when Apple stock goes back up, those 5 shares are going to get that 10% back that you're down on paper right now. You're not selling more than you had to originally.
And remember, the worst case in that kind of a sequence of returns is actually if it happens earlier in your retirement rather than later, because now it continues the entire length of your retirement. You've got less in that fund all the time from there on out.
So that's when you have to take a look and you go over and you look at the smiley face and you say, I think I need to get a job as a happy greeter over at Walmart because I used up my retirement too soon. My days outlasted my dollars. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. More with Jay Kaplan, fighting inflation for you when we come back. Why you may want to start your home search today. And in our Better Outcomes segment, an equity buyout is not a mortgage loan. That's our Better Outcomes segment. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. Why you may want to start your home search today. If you're thinking about buying a home, you likely have a lot of factors on your mind. You're weighing your own needs against higher mortgage rates, today's home prices, and more to try to decide if you want to jump into the market. While some buyers may wait things out, there's a reason serious buyers are making moves right now, and that's the growing number of homes for sale. So far this year, housing inventory has been increasing, and that's making the prospect of finding your dream home less difficult. While there are always reasons you could delay making a big decision, there are always reasons to consider moving forward, and having a growing number of options for your home search may be exactly what you needed to feel more comfortable in making a move. What's causing housing inventory to grow? As new data comes out, we're getting an updated picture of why housing supply is increasing so much this year. As Bill McBride, author of Calculated Risk, explains, quote, "We're seeing a significant change in inventory, but no pickup in new listings. Most of the increase in inventory so far has been due to softer demand, likely because of higher mortgage rates," unquote. Basically, the inventory growth is primarily from homes staying on the market a bit longer, known as active listings, and that's happening because higher mortgage rates and home prices have helped moderate the peak frenzy of buyer demand. If you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, any of our socials at ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, you're seeing a graph from Realtor.com that shows how much active listings have risen over the past 5 months. Homes available for sale, 748,000. That's total. That is single family, condo, townhomes, 1 to 4 unit. 748,000. Single families are still way down. Why this growth is good news for you, regardless of the source. The increase in available housing supply is good for buyers. More housing supply actively for sale means you have more options as you search for your next home. A recent article from Realtor.com explains just how significant the inventory growth has been and why it's good news for your plans to buy. Net quote, "Nationally, the inventory of homes actively for sale on a typical day in July increased by 30.7% over the past year. The largest increase in inventory in the data history and higher than last month's growth rate of 18.7%, which was itself record-breaking. This amounted to 176,000 more homes actively for sale on a typical day in July compared to the previous year, and more choice for buyers who are still looking for a new home," unquote. The growth this year is certainly good news for you, especially if you've had trouble finding a home that meets your needs. If you start your search today, those additional options should make it less difficult to find a home than it would have been over the past 2 years. Bottom line, if you're ready to jump into the market and take advantage of the increasing supply of homes for sale, let's chat. Also, make sure you do not go looking for a new home until you've reviewed our 3 steps that you need to take before you get a new home. You're going to also be wanting to look at rsrpaymentassist.com, rsrpaymentassist.com, showing you how you can save money by paying over the market rate. And as always, I ask, if you have any friends, family, or coworkers looking to buy, sell, or borrow on real estate, can I count on you for an introduction? That's the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. Continue our conversation this morning. Jay Kaplan is with us, chatting about reverse mortgages, how we might be able to maybe fight inflation a little bit by using the reverse mortgage. Maybe we'll fight the turbulence of the stock market by fighting inflation. So it's all good. But Jay's talking about the idea of getting your line of credit growing on that reverse mortgage. Jay, I know there's some new products available in the reverse mortgage world. So I think you can go down to younger than that 62 years of age now. Is that it?
55.
55 years old.
And these are, that's good for the proprietary or the jumbo, the larger amounts. They go up to like $6 million these days for reverse mortgages. So
Are those a line of credit as well, Jay?
On those proprietaries, there is a limited line of credit, okay? Is it a great line of credit like the Heckham? All lines of credit are great, okay? We'll settle on that. But no, it doesn't grow as fast and it doesn't last the life of the borrower. So it's a bit different, but I like it because on those, let's call them jumbo because that's what we're going to pigeonhole them into right now. They're larger amounts, and therefore, when you may not want, what I'm trying to say is you may not want all of the cash that you would be entitled to. Why? Because maybe you don't need it. You don't want to owe it. So you take the adjustable, and in that case, you can take out less than the total amount you could have, and you could take the next, say, 10 years to decide if you want more. And if you want more, you do have access to it. So to me, that makes a big difference in that a lot of people don't want the maximum amount of cash, but they want access to it for who knows what reason in the future.
Well, there's a lot of reasons that you may want it. I mean, we have no idea what the future holds for anybody.
Right. And this way you've got access.
So you've got the access without having to pay the interest on it.
Correct. When you do take it, obviously it adds on to your balance. But, just like any other reverse loan, you can take money out. You can put it right back in the next month.
What about payments, Jay? Does it have the optional payments as well?
Do it. It's optional. You can still do it. Let's say you want to buy a mobile home. Let's say you want to, let's say an RV, a new car. Just take the money out, pay for it. Then if you want to, you can pay yourself back at any rate that you want to make up, and take as long as you want to do it. And then you don't have an outside company that's collecting on a car at a higher rate. You can pay yourself back any rate that you want. Now understand, when you make a payment towards your reverse mortgage, like any other payment, goes towards interest, goes towards principal. However, every single penny goes back into the line of credit.
So that's a good for tax planning. Also, if
yeah.
I'm able to make a payment and capture that the mortgage interest deduction strategically based on whatever my CPA or tax person tells me.
Right, and you can make a different decision every year.
Okay, good. So that's always a good case right there. That's so now we can go down to 55 years. So you can end up having no required housing payment for
Right,
30 years.
right.
You know, I mean, just based on actuarial tables, you live to 85. You know, it's,
No, I got that's the day after tomorrow for me. So let's hope it's a little longer.
yeah, I hope you're a little longer than the day after tomorrow, Jay.
Okay, good. And
So
the rates seem a little high right now, but remember, just like any other type of loan or investment, when let's say you got a reverse mortgage 6 months ago when rates were quite a bit lower. When rates are lower, the borrower is able to get more benefit or a higher line of credit to start with. But remember, that line of credit is at a very low rate. So now we can complain all we want about higher rates, but the higher rate is going to give you slightly less on the amount of the line of credit, but a whole bunch more on the rate that is being added to your line of credit. So who's the winner? Either way, looks like to me.
So let's talk about that part then, Jay. Generally we see interest rates drop during a recession.
Yes.
If we get the reverse mortgage now, if that's what's in our best interest to go and do that right now, what are the pros and cons of refinancing or restructuring that reverse mortgage, 6 months, a year, 2 years down the road?
I always say to go ahead and do it if it is an advantage. So there's 3 different things that go into the formula as to how much you get. One is your age. And in most cases, I find that my clients are growing older all the time. So we got that part covered. The other is the value of the property. And that, there are some arguments now about what's going to happen, but still, by and large, properties are carrying a very high value to it. And number 3 would be the age of the client. So those 3 things go together to decide on which or the amount that the borrower is going to be able to take advantage of.
Is there a required amount of savings on the FHA reverse?
No.
Okay, so if it saved
Remember, qualifying is pretty easy. You do not have a house payment to qualify for. So
Okay.
I'd say in 95% of the time, the only thing that qualifies the client for a reverse mortgage is Social Security.
Okay, so that's good stuff. So I don't have to have. I can just go in there. The interest rate goes down 0.5% or 1%, and I can restructure that, take advantage of a better market. There is one area, Jay, that I would think that we have to be careful of, though, is if we've had our reverse mortgage for an extended period of time.
Yeah, and then you mean the balance of the loan has grown to such a point, and that is definitely possible. But you got to be around for a while, pretty much, to let that happen. Or if it was a quote tighter loan to begin with.
Okay.
But overall, look what's happened between rates and between values, and you can say, oh, that will never happen again, but boy, it does, doesn't it?
Sure does. More great information with Jay Kaplan. When we come back, we're going to talk more with Jay Kaplan. We will also have our Better Outcome segment. An equity buyout is not a mortgage loan. All that and more. You can reach me anytime off air, number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Is your budget getting blown up with high prices of gas and increased costs for other household needs? This is Ron Siegel, host of the daily Home and Finance radio program. Did you know if you have a low interest rate mortgage along with auto debt, credit card debt, or student loans, your family could potentially save $500 or more per month by restructuring these debts? If you'd like a free Borrow Smart analysis with our team, let's book an appointment to see how we might be able to relieve some stress. Schedule your appointment at rsrbsa.com. That's rsrbsa.com for your free Borrow Smart analysis. rsrbsa.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Better Outcome segment brought to you by mycdlp.com, mycdlp.com. Have you got your divorcing your mortgage workbook? mydymworkbook.com, mydymworkbook.com. Fill it out, send it back to us. We'll put together a full report on your real assets, just to give you an idea of some of the things that are available to you. An equity buyout is not a mortgage loan. There is a lot of confusion and misunderstanding about equity buyouts during a divorce. Is it a mortgage or is it a process? An equity buyout is a process of acquiring the equity ownership of an existing legal owner of real property. Acquiring the equity ownership in the marital home from an ex-spouse is most commonly done by refinancing the existing mortgage. When a divorce involves refinancing the marital home, divorcing borrowers typically are looking to pull equity out of the home in order to buy out the other spouse's equity ownership. Although the divorce settlement agreement may outline the details of the transfer of ownership, it does not determine what type of financing is available for the divorcing borrower. What is an equity buyout? The name equity buyout confuses some people into thinking they have to purchase the house from the other spouse. This is not true. An equity buyout is actually handled as a refinance loan, not a purchase loan. Now, there are two types of refinances we need to consider, because just because the court orders one party to buy the equity out of the other party, that doesn't dictate the type of refinancing category it'll fall under, and each one has its own limitation and requirements to be met. Two types of refinances to consider when going through the divorce process. The two types of refinance are either rate and term refinance or a cash out refinance. Rate and term refinances typically have better terms with regards to lower interest rates and access to more equity. A cash out mortgage, on the other hand, may carry a higher interest rate and typically only allows the borrower to access up to 80% of the home's value, which can present a problem when the goal for the refinance is to actually access the equity, right? The divorce settlement agreement needs to be structured in such a way that the divorcing borrower can refinance as a rate and term equity buyout. The loan structure will allow the divorcing borrower to access the equity in the home without the higher pricing adjustment or even the ability to refinance at all. Specific requirements a divorcing borrower needs to meet. There are specific requirements that the divorcing borrower needs to meet. However, in order for the refinance to be structured as a rate and term equity buyout, there may be title seasoning issues, specific wording in the divorce settlement agreement, among other issues. In order for an equity buyout to be classified as a rate and term refinance, it must meet the following requirements. The equity buyout must be addressed in the homestead or real estate section of the marital settlement agreement, basically meaning it must be addressed independently. It may not be included in, say, an addendum that identifies all marital assets and the equity distribution absorbed into the total division of the marital estate. Absolutely no cash back is allowed to the borrower for debt consolidation, attorney's fees, etc. Literally not one penny can be due the borrower at closing, even if it is the result of overestimated fees. The borrowing spouse must have been on title for the previous 12 months. This is a key factor if, for example, the mortgage and title were held in the husband's name and the wife was awarded the marital home and needs to refinance the home. Even though the court order makes her a successor in interest, which then allows her to refinance the home, even if she isn't on the current mortgage. Again, the court cannot dictate which category of refinancing is applicable, why you should involve a CDLP when working through an equity buyout. As we mentioned above, a divorce that involves an equity buyout can be super messy. It is always important to work with an experienced mortgage professional who specializes in working with divorcing clients and has a firm grasp of the different types of refinances involved with an equity buyout. A certified divorce lending professional, CDLP, that would be me, brings tremendous value to the divorce team during the settlement process. Background knowledge of family law, financial and tax planning, real property and mortgage financing allows us to better support and assist the divorce team and divorcing homeowners. Working with a CDLP and incorporating divorce mortgage planning into the divorce settlement may help both spouses obtain new mortgage financing post-divorce. Give us a call for that Divorce Your Mortgage Homeowner Workbook, that mydymworkbook.com, mydymworkbook.com. It's a guide to credit, real estate, and mortgage financing after divorce. This workbook will help you get organized, be prepared, and understand your mortgage financing position, whether you are needing to refinance the marital home in an equity buyout situation or prepare to sell and purchase a new home post-divorce. Remember, we don't give legal advice. We don't give tax advice. We just help you understand the intersection of the divorce, real property, family law, tax law, and financing. That's my CDLP. That's the Better Outcome segment brought to you by mycdlp.com, mycdlp.com. Continue our conversation. Jay Kaplan is with us today. We're chatting about the reverse mortgages. One of my favorite loans. So, Jay, we hear all the time that you've got to be in a very, very desperate situation to be getting a reverse mortgage.
I start my no real quick on that. That's not why it was invented.
Really?
Back up until the late 1980s, every bank on every corner had their own reverse mortgage, and it was not a good mortgage. And that's why it still has that stigma, but that type of loan does not exist at all anymore. Those had some bad parameters when some of them had when the balance was higher than the value, you had to get out. If you passed away with a few $100,000 worth of equity, the bank would give the heirs 5%. So, why not think of it as owned by the bank? Those loans are completely gone. They're now the safest loan on the face of the earth, and I can see it's administered by the U.S. government, FHA. FHA does not make the loans. Normal banks do, and the best, safest loan on the face of the earth, in my opinion, and probably yours too.
So why is it that people think that it's a last resort? What are the other options if it's not a last resort? What are the other pros and cons, or why would I not think of it as a last resort?
Because a last resort means that you're completely out of money, and you could be and still get one. It means you have no way to continue or to live in your house unless you do this. And it's usually expected that if this is the last resort, you do this only because you can now live in your home. It makes sense it would be a desperate move, but it is absolutely not. Congress put this together as a way for older people who are no longer increasing their income to be able to actually hold on to what they already have.
That's a great thought right there. So it's a financial planning tool.
Yes, it's a strategy, as you would say.
Yeah, it's a strategy for once you've. So here's my take on it. So I'm not as old as Jay. Nobody is.
No one is.
But at some point in your life, you get beyond the wealth creation phase of life, and you're just enjoying your golden years and having a good time. I hope you have a lot of years of good time. But here's the issue: is part of your wealth creation here, and it baffles me because I talk to a lot of financial planners all the time, and for some reason, they look at the 401k because they can make money on it. They look at the assets that are being held. They look at mutual funds. They look at all these different things, but they don't look at your biggest asset, and they don't look at, in some cases, your biggest liability. That would be your house and your mortgage. They don't include that in your financial plan. It should be.
Of course.
So why aren't you with the reverse mortgage?
There's other. I mean, your 401, if you're still working or whatever you've got, those belong to you and your legacy also. And what doesn't pay for one, the other one could. So you know, if you've got less in this fund or this bucket and more in that one, it just makes you more flexible.
Yeah, you have options. Stronger. More options during that, once you pass that wealth accumulation phase. If you want more information on the reverse mortgage, give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. I'll put you in touch with Jay Kaplan. And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Levin, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or want to meet any of our guests, call me anytime. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.